Somewhere in your grandfather's garage, there's probably a tool that hasn't been touched in 20 years. To you, it looks like junk. To the right person, it's a $100,000 a year skill sitting in plain sight, gathering dust, because almost nobody under 40 even knows it still pays. Here's the pattern behind almost everything on this list. These trades used to be taught in schools and passed down in families. Then, sometime in the last 50 years, someone decided they were outdated. The world moved on to computers and college degrees, and the trades quietly disappeared from view. But they never stopped being needed. They just stopped having competition. Today, we're covering 10 of them: what they cost to learn, what they actually pay, and why the people who still do them can barely keep up with demand. Number 4 pays more per hour than most office jobs. Number 1 has a waiting list measured in years. Let's get into it.
Number 10. Umbrella repair. Nobody thinks of a broken umbrella as anything but garbage. A bent rib, a torn panel, and it goes straight in the bin, replaced with a $12 one from a drugstore that'll break the same way in a month. But a well-made umbrella, the kind that costs $150 or more, is built to be repaired, not replaced, and almost nobody left knows how. An umbrella repair specialist charges $20 to $40 per fix, takes maybe 20 minutes per job, and works almost entirely by mail order once word gets around. The tools cost under $200 to start. The real asset is being one of the only people online who still does it, which means the entire country becomes your customer base instead of just your neighborhood.
Number 9. Cast iron cookware restoration. Somewhere in a lot of basements sits a rusted, seized-up cast iron pan that's actually worth serious money once it's properly restored. Some vintage pieces sell for $150 to $400 once they're stripped, re-seasoned, and brought back to a usable finish. A restorer buys rusty pans at estate sales and thrift stores for a few dollars each, spends a couple of hours per piece on electrolysis, sanding, and seasoning, and resells them to collectors and home cooks who've discovered that vintage cast iron often outperforms anything sold new today. The entire setup fits in a garage. The main cost is patience.
Number 8. Small engine repair. Every neighborhood is full of lawn mowers, generators, and chainsaws that stop running and just get left in a shed because most people have no idea where to even take them anymore. Big box stores don't repair what they sell, and a lot of independent repair shops that used to exist simply closed when their owners retired. Someone who learns basic small engine repair, a skill that can be picked up through a community college course or months of hands-on practice, can charge $60 to $120 per repair, working out of a home garage with a pickup truck for equipment drop-off and pickup. Spring and fall, when everyone's mower or snowblower refuses to start, tends to keep a repair calendar completely full.
Number 7. Rug and oriental carpet repair. A hand-knotted rug can be worth thousands of dollars, and when it develops a moth hole, a frayed edge, or worn fringe, the owner is often desperate to find someone who can actually fix it, rather than just throw away an heirloom. The problem is that almost no local people still do hand reweaving. A specialist can charge $200 to $800 per restoration, depending on size and damage, working entirely by appointment out of a home studio. The skill takes real patience to learn, but once a repairer builds a reputation with even one antique dealer or interior designer, referrals tend to keep the calendar full without any advertising at all. Number 6. Dry stone wall building and repair. This one sounds almost too old-fashioned to be real, but in regions with older stone walls, property boundaries, garden walls, historic fencing, the skill of stacking stone without mortar so it holds for a century is close to extinct. Most general contractors won't touch it because it's slow, specialized work. A dry stone waller can charge $80 to $150 per linear foot for restoration work on historic properties, often working alone with nothing more than basic hand tools. Projects can take weeks,
but a single well-known specialist in a region can stay booked essentially year-round on estate and heritage properties alone.
Number 5. Antique clock repair. Grandfather clocks, mantle clocks, and cuckoo clocks. These sit silent in thousands of homes because the handful of clockmakers who could service them have mostly retired, and almost nobody trained a replacement generation. A full mechanical service on a grandfather clock runs $300 to $600, and a specialist working from a home workshop can comfortably book appointments months in advance. The training takes real time, often a year or more of hands-on practice, but the barrier to entry is exactly what protects the people already in it. Once someone builds a local reputation, referrals from estate sales, antique dealers, and even other clockmakers who are retiring without a successor tend to keep the calendar permanently full.
Number 4. Leatherworking and saddle repair. Anywhere there are horses, there's leather tack that needs regular repair. Saddles, bridles, harnesses, and equestrian owners will pay serious money to keep gear that's often worth thousands of dollars in usable condition. A saddler can charge $150 to $400 for a full restitching or repair job, and rural areas with any horse culture at all tend to have far more demand than there are people left who know the trade. The tools are a real upfront investment. A heavy-duty stitching setup can run into the thousands, but the work itself, once learned, has almost no modern competition because it simply isn't taught anymore outside of a shrinking number of apprenticeships.
Number 3. Typewriter repair. This sounds like a joke until you look at what's actually happening. Vintage typewriters have become genuinely fashionable again. Collectors, writers, and even offices leaning into a retro aesthetic are buying and using them. And every one of those machines eventually needs cleaning, new ribbons, or mechanical repair. A full service typically runs $80 to $150, and there are only a small number of specialists left in most countries. Most of the demand now arrives by mail, which means a single repairer with a home workbench can serve customers nationwide instead of being limited to their own city. The skill can largely be self-taught through old service manuals and patient trial and error.
Number 2. Blacksmithing and custom ironwork. Custom gates, railings, fireplace tools, and decorative ironwork have become a genuine luxury market, especially for historic home restorations where mass-produced hardware simply looks wrong. A blacksmith can charge anywhere from $200 for a small custom piece to $10,000 or more for a full ornamental gate, and a forge setup, while a real investment, lasts essentially a lifetime. The trade takes real time to learn well, but that's exactly why the people who do it rarely struggle for work. Architects and contractors doing historic renovations often can't find anyone local who does it at all and end up shipping pieces across the country to whoever's left.
Number 1. Chimney sweeping. Every home with a working fireplace or wood stove needs a chimney cleaned at least once a year, both for safety and to avoid a fire risk that insurance companies take seriously. Yet the number of certified chimney sweeps has shrunk dramatically over the last few decades, even as wood-burning stoves have seen a real resurgence for heating cost reasons. A standard sweep and inspection runs $150 to $300, takes under 2 hours, and a single sweep can realistically complete 4 or 5 appointments a day during the busy fall season. Certification takes a few months, tools cost under $1,000 to start, and in a lot of regions, a sweep with a good reputation is booked solid from September through December, then repeats the exact same cycle again the following year.
Here's the pattern running through all 10. Every single one of these trades disappeared from view for the same reason. They got quietly written off as old-fashioned right around the time everyone was pushed toward college and computer work instead. But the actual demand never left. It just stopped having anyone answering it. Fewer people learning the trade means less competition for the ones who did, and less competition means the people still doing it can charge what the work is actually worth. You don't need to learn all 10. You don't even need to learn 2. Pick the one that made you think, wait, I could actually try that, and start there. Research it, find where people are already talking about it online, and see what the real demand looks like in your area before committing to any tools. If one of these 10 surprised you, tell me which one in the comments. I read all of them. And if you want more of this, subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of thing this channel exists to dig up.